What's happening? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen, to all of my returning subscribers. But if this is your first time joining me on today, be sure to hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. And also do me a solid, click that notification bell. That way you will be alerted whenever I make a new post. Now today I am coming at y'all once more with another celebrity birth chart reading. But before we get started, if you would like to book a personal birth chart reading of your own, be sure to hit me up at astrowerld. That's Astro, WERLD, at gmail.com. And we're going to get you right. All right. So without further ado, I got a couple of requests to do Lizzo. And I don't know much about Lizzo. She's apparently a rapper slash artist. Now, the first time I actually saw her was on the BET Awards a few weeks ago, or maybe like a month ago, when she had like a really good performance and she got on stage, she rocked it, and then she started playing the flute in the middle of her performance and everybody went crazy. And I mean, it was cute. I've never heard of her before, so literally we gonna go to Wikipedia. I'm gonna do like a brief bio, mostly to inform myself, but I'm sure I might have some subscribers who aren't really too familiar with her either. So you know how I do. I'm gonna give you the breakdown of the person, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into their chart, okay? So with that being said, Lizzo was born in Detroit, Michigan. At the age of 10, her family relocated to Houston. She began her career in rapping while living in Texas. Lizzo started rapping as a teenager in a southwest part of Houston known as A-Leaf. At the age of 14, she formed a group called Cornrow Click with her best friends. Wait, how old? That sounds like something some 14-year-olds would make up. She moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota in 2011. In Minneapolis, it's hard to say that word. She performed with indie groups, including the electro soul pop duo Lizzo and Larva Inc. During this time, she helped form three-piece, or I think they meant to say a three-piece, all-female rap and R&B group. Blah, 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 blah. It's just talking about different artists she opened up for. I don't know them. I'm pretty sure y'all don't either. Let's get to the point. Back in 2015, Big Girl, Small World was released. So this is one of her albums. Her collaboration with Yours Smith, Let 'Em Say, was featured in the season 3 opening of Broad City in February 2016. Lizzo's first major label EP, Coconut Oil, was released on October 7th, 2016. Lizzo also appeared as a guest judge on the 10th season of RuPaul's Drag Race. After struggling with body issues at an early age, Lizzo became an advocate. Y'all, I can't talk tonight, so don't judge me. An advocate for body positivity and self-love. Now, this is the part that I really wanted to hone in on, because the more I started really kind of looking into her or just asking around, a lot of people mention that she's very huge on body positivity and inclusivity amongst all sizes, races. I mean, she has backup dancers that are all plus size women called the Big Girls. I think that's what she calls them or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of like her niche, so to speak. That's kind of her zhuzh, what she's known for. So I hate to say a gimmick, but you know what? We're going to get into that later. So yeah, so there's that. Is there anything else that's worth mentioning? Oh yeah, of course, y'all know she could play the flute. So there is that. She actually graduated from the University of Houston with a degree in classical flute. Girl, that's real dedication, because, what you gonna do if that don't work out? I mean, obviously it's worked out for her, but I'm just speaking for the everyday person. But there's neither here nor there. So let's get started with her reading. So Lizzo was born on April 27, 1988 in Detroit, Michigan, which makes her a Taurus Sun, Virgo Moon. So getting into this Taurus Sun, her Sun is at the 7th degree. That number seven is, it carries like a Neptune energy, okay, which in heightens this sense of artistic ability that she has. Taurus is governed by Venus. Venus is also very artistically inclined. So together, this could absolutely create somebody who is very much involved in the arts. It definitely explains her being great at the flute. And actually, with her Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter all conjoined in Taurus, that deals with her going to school for the flute or playing like some type of musical instrument. Mercury deals directly with schools. So that's pretty cool. And Jupiter deals with like college. It deals with larger level, higher level institutions. So that's her graduating from that university right there. So that's pretty neat. Also, getting into her size, okay? Because once again, and this is, like I said, my opinion. I don't really have a strong personal opinion about her because I have very limited knowledge of her. So I just want to preface the reading with that, because here comes the people in the comments. You just giving your opinion. That's not even, I don't get, no. I really want to take the time to dissect her being this pillar for inclusivity and body positivity, because I feel like based off of certain things that I see in her chart, I feel like it's gimmicky. Okay, I'm going to just say it like that. So her having first of all, with her being a Taurus is the sign of food. Taurus, especially, men as well, but Taurus women can absolutely pack on the pounds, but they can still remain attractive while they do it, and I personally know a lot. I used to have a best friend who was a Taurus, and her weight will fluctuate, but Taurus women typically can stand to gain a lot of weight because they have a type of frame that's kind of stocky, because Taurus is symbolized by the bull, the cat. I don't want to say the cow, the bull, you know what I'm saying? Very stocky. And even if they aren't big women, their bones, their frame is built to withstand a lot of weight. Like, they can afford to carry around a lot of weight and do it more gracefully than a lot of other people. Taurus women can also be very curvy and voluptuous. I think of Black China, even though she clearly has had surgery. Let's not even get started on her Bugs Life booty. Okay, we get it. However, if you look at earlier pictures of her, even since like a young woman, she's always had like a nice shape. She's always had a rather curvy shape. So, there's that. Somebody else that I think about too, another example of this, is Janet Jackson. Now, everybody knows that like after she gave birth to her son, and usually when she's about to go on tour, she goes on these rigorous ass diets. However, you catch sister in her off season and she like a cool 220. Like, Janet can get big. And I say big by like celebrity Hollywood standards, but it doesn't look nasty or bad. It's just shocking because it's like she goes from 6-pack abs to like a size 16. So, she's another example of that. Like, they can still look damn good while they do it. And, when you look at Liz, she's obviously a very pretty woman, but then also with her Sun conjoined to her Jupiter, it deals with things that are like large and expansive, right? And together, Sun conjunct or conjoined to Jupiter can produce a large person, a big person, and once again, when you add in the fact that she has a lot of Taurus energy, that just takes it to a whole nother level as well. So she has a ton of indicators of her being just born to be a big girl, Now, here's the part where I feel like things get a little dicey. Okay. So she is a Virgo South Node with her moon conjoined to her South Node in Virgo. Okay. Now let's talk about the moon conjoint to the South Node. This can produce, it's a kind of a fucked up aspect, because it could produce somebody who is very much, they can get stuck in a lot of emotional patterns. Okay, these people can be focused on the past. They may have had issues like family issues, and ironically enough, with the moon governing Cancer as well as Virgo are the two signs that don't do well with bad upbringings or like things that happened in the past, right? So if somebody with prominent Virgo energy or Cancer energy, or Virgo or Cancer South nodes, or in her case, having her Virgo moon conjoined to her South node, they can carry a lot of baggage with them in the future, from the past, and it's really hard for them to resolve a lot of those emotional issues that they're dealing with. Now, Virgo, just as a sign, especially Virgo moons, and I'm speaking from experience because I am a Virgo moon myself, Virgo moons has to be one of the most toughest, moon placements, because Virgo is a sign that looks to fix things. So inadvertently, it creates a person who is never really satisfied. And remember, your moon deals with your emotions. It deals with your inner being, your state of mind, your instinctive responses, like instinctive emotional responses to the world around you. So, Virgo moon individuals, especially conjoined to a South node in Virgo, can be very critical, hypercritical of themselves, hypercritical of other people. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, just on a sheer psychology basis, like if you're critical of other people, it's indicative of a problem that you have with yourself. That's just kind of how that works. We all project. We're all human. We've all done it. It's just how it works. However, with this placement, Lizzo could be somebody who is very insecure. And, typically South nodes are things that, their previous life experiences, early life experiences that we're supposed to get away from in this lifetime. But, and certain people are able to activate their North Node. Now, her having a Pisces North Node, I feel like in certain respects, she probably has, because Pisces also deals with art and artistry, and because it's ruled by Neptune. However, especially with such a personal planet like the moon sitting here, and some of the aspects that it's making, which we'll get to later, I feel like she does harbor a lot of emotional, I wouldn't even say resentment, but she can be very emotional and insecure about the way that she looks. And Virgo also deals with eating, because it deals with your everyday habits. It deals with, it can even deal with food. It's another sign that deals with food, as well as just the moon in general. So as a result, Virgo moons tend to have very quirky and particular eating habits. This could lead to all kinds of things like eating disorders. I myself have had an eating disorder as a Virgo moon, so I can only imagine with her moon being conjoined to her South node. It could create somebody who has very particular, or who's very fickle in what they like as far as food or as far as their habits, very obsessive, okay, because Virgo is governed by Mercury, so we're talking about a lot of mental energy. They can be very cerebral, very much in their brain. So, I mean, it can lead to all kinds of just weird obsessions and compulsions, you know. Virgo is also a sign that is very body conscious, very body aware. And that's because Virgo, or the sixth house, deals with assimilation and how well you can incorporate a whole lot of small moving parts. This is why a lot of Virgos also tend to be good at martial arts, or sports and things of that nature. Like, they don't get the credit that they deserve as far as being kind of athletically inclined, or having the capacity to do so, because they're very physically, like, they're able to isolate different parts of their bodies and integrate certain parts of their bodies. I mean, but they're very aware of how they appear in the world overall as well. I think of like taekwondo, or like, karate fighters, kung fu fighters, or like, perfect example, Wiz Khalifa is a Virgo, and y'all know my zaddy. He's my zaddy. He just started doing, what was it? Is it kickboxing or something like that? Like MMA style kickboxing, and he done got beefed up, but that's a different reading for a different day. But that's a perfect example of like that Virgo dealing with, body consciousness, and really making for like a really strong athlete. So I said that to say that I feel like she's very body conscious. However, with her moon forming a trine to that Jupiter, as well as her sun, it gives her the ability to make money off of it, and really become famous and gain access to a higher profile and a higher status. I think she recognized from very early on, especially with Jupiter dealing with money, she recognized from very early on that this could be a situation to where, like, okay, I can really flip this in my favor, when I'm looking at like where society is going culturally, and we can just make this a thing. You know what I'm saying? Big girl power. Big girl power. Not to say that she doesn't, I don't know, like other big people, but I think she's uncomfortable with being herself, and I think she just puts her big girl panties on, no pun intended, because I mean, it's good for her career, and she's about that shmoney. Okay, especially with her Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter deals with money too. And it's just all, I mean, of course, Taurus does. Taurus rules the second house of finances and value. So, she wants to be taken care of. That's something that's very important. I said supporting. What is up with me tonight? Important to her. Her security, creating a foundation for herself. So, there's that. Also, taking it back to her South Node, her Virgo South Node, her moon is squaring her Venus. Venus deals with food as well, which reinforces this notion of me feeling like she has an eating disorder. Now, her Venus is at the 20th degree of Gemini. And I mean, Gemini and Virgo are both governed by Mercury. And this could just produce taste buds that are very fickle. It can make somebody very neurological and even obsessive. So it kind of reinforces that obsessive energy. But then also, Gemini carries this sense of duplicity or duality, to the point where, like, it reinforces her being two different things, or presenting herself to be two different ways. And maybe she just has like a alter ego to her, or like a different persona. Like, maybe she really believes in her head, like, oh yeah, I'm this badass bitch who is like okay with everything. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the Tupac effect, like, or most Geminis, that duplicit nature, like, and that's kind of why they get a reputation for being two-faced. Also, another thing that reinforces that is her Chiron is at the 25th degree of Gemini. So yeah, it's conjoined to her Venus, y'all. And Chiron deals with emotional or psychological wounds. It can deal with where you feel like you're the exception to the rule. It can deal with extraordinary behavior. And her Venus and Chiron are opposing her Saturn in Capricorn. Now, Saturn is dignified in Capricorn because it naturally governs the sign. However, this aspect can produce somebody who is about, they're okay with living a double life in order to secure that bag. I mean, with her Saturn being in Capricorn, it makes her very career focused. Saturn, or Capricorn rather, governs the 10th house, dealing with the way you make your mark on the world, your reputation, your career, even the elevator to success. Her Sun and Jupiter are trining her Saturn, which reinforces her being very career focused, being a very hard worker, and it can make her a very disciplined person, which is why I feel like she can lose the weight. And I actually feel like she will. I don't think she's going to remain a big girl, actually. I think as her career continues to, evolve and expand and grow, she's going to get to a point where either she's going to drop all the weight, or she might even fluctuate. That trine can produce laziness, okay? Because a trine is a type of aspect where, it can be a gift. It can be a talent. A lot of astrologers look at trines as underdeveloped talents from a past life. However, the way that it plays out for most people in this lifetime, we take it for granted. Okay, we don't really utilize it the way we should, and it could produce laziness. And then I feel like, this could even point towards her weight even being a source of, like, a major source of struggle for her. With, because Saturn does deal with struggles. It deals with hard work. But it can also deal with delays, which is why I'm wondering maybe if later down the line, she'll lose the weight, because Capricorn is very disciplined. It's one of the best signs for losing weight. Okay. So people who have prominent Capricorn energy typically do very well with being very sticking to like a very strict regimen. Capricorn is also one of the signs of the military as well. So, as well as the police. So do with that what you will. But also, I wonder, if her weight could even be a source of depression. However, on the flip side, this aspect could also reinforce her using this as an opportunity for her to advance her career and her status. And so maybe she goes back and forth internally, or maybe she started off feeling really upset about it and, recognize like, hey, I can make money off of this. But I feel like it's something that she's going to struggle with, though. I feel, especially with her Saturn conjoined to Uranus, because Uranus is very unpredictable. I feel like it's something that she's kind of always going to, her weight and, her internal feelings about her weight, is something that she's always going to struggle with. Now, finally, to sum up my point, or to bring home my point about me feeling like she's going to lose weight in the future, her Sun and Jupiter are opposing her Pluto and Scorpio. Now, Sun opposing Pluto just in and of itself deals with major transformation. It can produce major or drastic changes in your appearance in the body. Now, Pluto in Scorpio deals with surgery or invasive procedures. So her having her Sun and Jupiter opposing her Pluto, number one, it reinforces her feeling uncomfortable with, her weight, her size. But then once again, it brings about a possibility, a very, probable or plausible possibility of her having some type of weight loss procedure, or, some type of surgery. I don't think she's gonna stay big, y'all, and I think it's really killing her on the inside. And I feel like a lot of what she's doing is, you know, in order for her to like to get in where she fits in for the advancement of her career. It is what it is. I mean, I'm glad she's doing it. You know, it's good for people to see, but it just is what it is. So yeah, that concludes my reading for Lizzo. Y'all drop down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of this reading, as well as any suggestions you may have for future celebrity readings. And as always, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until next time, I holla.